really get it. They've been to the CTWCs and they hired literally one of the biggest faces to be a part of this. And Mark told me, "Oh, that's a great idea, but I don't know if Green Tea would talk on camera." And one thing I didn't realize is when I went to like watch other like press events that he's done, he's very silent. He doesn't usually say very much.
Yeah.
To my surprise, when I reached out to Green Tea, he agreed to it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's really nice. And I think that's one of the first major interviews that Green Tea has done where he's like talked a lot in it. And he does such a great job with talking. Like, again, everybody in the community loves him.
My wife loves him. It's true.
I'm super glad he agreed to do it. Even though I think I think that's a case for maybe a lot of people, because there's been some other people I've reached out to interviews for Game Scout videos where it's been their like first time being interviewed on a main stage or something big, and they've been a little hesitant to be on camera or something. I think like everybody enjoyed interviewing. Like they all come across really great on camera. I love hearing what they have to say. I love getting to know them better. Green Tea, again, he's so nice. He was really great to work with.
Sharky is one of the best DAS players currently in the community. Sharky ended up on the 10th place during CTWC 2020 and told us how he felt during the Group B qualifying bracket. And after that, he made some interesting points on DAS versus TAP. And then in the end, you qualified as seed 41. You were placed in a bracket with Ben, Nanu, Jake, Sidnev, Paul, and Josh. What did you thought when you saw the bracket you were playing in?
I was discouraged because I had two 1.3 players in my bracket, and I was like, well, if I beat one, then I'm probably going to have to go up against another to, try and get into the prize pool. And so then my only goal, as I said on like the preview video with a Game Scout, my only goal was, beat Ben, or, beat, if I lost to Ben, beat Josh, because I figured Josh was going to lose to Nanu. So then I did, better than how I did in 2019, where I didn't win any matches. So I just wanted to overall improve from my performance in 2019.
Yeah, and then you won the first two matches against Ben and Nanu, and you were suddenly in the winners brackets finals. How did you do during the match against Ben and Nanu? Were you expecting to beat them back to back?
I was not expecting to beat Nanu. That one was quite the surprise, because I didn't have, prior to that, anytime I played Nanu, I've never beaten him. In fact, I don't think I've taken a game off of him because he either early top down, then I failed to chase down. So that game, that was like, such a huge spotlight, especially since I pulled it off with a reverse sweep, and it was like, okay, I can't believe I just beat Nanu. Now I have, a real shot at going into the prize pool and, shocking both myself and everyone.
And then there was a break between your match against Nanu and your match against Paul. What did you do during the break?
I went and ate fried rice and watched the other matches.
What was it a good thing to have a break between your matches, or did you want to play through and have it over with?
I felt like I would have liked to break to be a little bit shorter, as opposed, how long it was, because I think I was waiting for like 2 to 3 hours. And so, yeah, loser bracket final. I wish that match, I kind of wish I had a little bit longer for a break for the loser bracket finals, because I wanted to watch them, see who it was. But since, I was busy watching, I didn't necessarily get too much time to, warm myself up.
And the winner brackets finals was against Paul. You won a decider. What was your thoughts about that match?
It was incredibly close. I know it came to mind whenever we played an exhibition match for Classic Tetris Asia. And that particular day I was running on 2 hours of sleep. And so, he beat me in the decider. And so in my mind, I'm like, I got you, Paul. Don't worry. This time I'm running on, more than 2 hours of sleep. Yeah. So you're not winning this one. and ended up beating him.
And then Nanu worked his way all the way through the loser brackets to the finals, and he had to beat you twice to move on to the top 8 main events. But he beat you the first match 3-1 and the second match 3-0. What was your feeling after those matches?
Honestly, it was tough because the last 4 games I got subpar RNG. Each of those 4 games only had 30 long bars at transition, which generally implies that is a low long bar game. And
Yeah.
I had, numerous 40 and 30 droughts. There was one game where I had like a 40 and then a 33 drought back to back. And obviously I could have played the games better because I have transition with 600,000 off of, 30 long bar games. But
Yeah.
having, getting that RNG game after game and it causing me to, top out in a one game whenever I was up at the top of the screen, doing my best to survive game 4 of set 1. And then the long bar just never came whenever, I had a chance for it to come. It really started to, get into my head, and I started to lose my composure and got, started to get frustrated.
Is that the reason why you lost set 2?
I'd say that is part of the reason why why I just couldn't perform well in 19 set 2. And then on the last game before, Nenu beat me, I had, this feeling that like Nenu was just beating me by like 200,000. So I decided to go for a center well early on, and unfortunately got hit with another drought and had no way to burn out the center well. So, I top out, and, Nenu advances.
Did you analyze all the games, all the matches that you played during CTWC?
I'd say my first match with Nenu.
And is that something you do privately, or do you want to make a video about it?
I'm gonna make a video about all of them, but the match versus me and Nenu is one that I am incredibly excited to make because that's kind of like the best match of that I had in CTWC. Because I ended up winning 3 games straight.
What do you think of CTWC in general, the tournament this year?
I think CTWC was an amazing tournament, and it was, a lot of people got some recognition that they deserved, being in the spotlight in their individual brackets. I know there was a lot of players that worked hard year round, but because they got in the Classic Tetris late, or because they don't really, do too much outside of play and tournaments, and they might not even be high profile tournaments like the Brawl 800K or CTM Futures or something like that. They didn't really get too much recognition, so I'm glad CTWC did allow that. However, I feel like there is a little bit of negative for the CTWC, and it's kind of the way that the audience received it. I did see, there was a little bit of toxicity going around in certain brackets, and then there's obviously, the way that a lot of people perceived it on YouTube, which, they're YouTube viewers or commenters, they always have, their own opinions, and, everyone's entitled to that, but a lot of things, are misinformed, like, oh, Daz is dead, or, Hyper Tappers should be banned, or now we need another Daz tournament, or they're saying that the game is boring because,